I call Pamjit Pama.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to speak on the second reading of the Minimum Wage Contractor Remuneration Amendment Bill in the name of Honourable David Parker. Mr. Speaker, as a member on the Transport and Industrial Relations Select Committee, I want to acknowledge Honourable David Parker for the work that he has done on the bill and the work that he did on this bill during the Select Committee process. But, Mr. Speaker, I'm taking this call to oppose this bill because this bill is to apply minimum wage to contractors in the same way it applies to employees. So this means, Mr. Speaker, that individuals and businesses hiring contractors will be required to keep a record of their remuneration. And if broken down to an hourly rate, it should come down to at least the minimum wage. So this means that they will also have to keep a record of their number of hours. And it's not just one side, Mr. Speaker, business or an individual hiring a contractor, but the contractor providing their services will also be required to keep record of their hours to prove if required. To me, Mr. Speaker, this is just adding unnecessary rules for businesses, and businesses don't need that. In my view, businesses need to be set free so that they can invest, reinvest, create more jobs. Mr. Speaker, we want our businesses to grow. We don't want unnecessary rules and regulations imposed on our businesses. And I wasn't surprised, Mr. Speaker, to see that a number of submitters opposed this bill for these reasons. And the submitters, those who opposed this bill, were from business sector, business representatives or firms. And Mr. Speaker, they had a very, very similar view, because these are the people, they are out there in the field and we should be listening to them. Some very interesting points came out during the Select Committee process. A submitter said that moving to a time-based model for contractors, the way we have it for employees, will actually restrict contracting opportunities, because contractors like to have flexibility. Some of them just work part-time. Mr. Speaker, what people look at when they go out to hire a contractor is the timeline they can provide their service in, and also fees for their service. And normally businesses or individuals wanting to hire a contractor will be going out and asking for more than one quotation. Once they have compared that quotation, they'll give that job to the one that is most satisfactory according to their business or their needs. And sometimes, Mr. Speaker, these people going out to hire contractors have no idea about the number of hours that job will take to finish. So it's really unfair to put this responsibility on these businesses or individuals to make sure that the contractor they're hiring is going to earn at least the minimum wage when the total amount the contractor is charging is broken down to an hourly rate. Mr. Speaker, coming from a manufacturing background, I have first-hand experience of dealing with contractors, and I know that contractors know what they are doing. Mr. Speaker, coming from a manufacturing background where there are several machines on regular basis, these machines are serviced. And these companies that service these machines, they don't service just for one company. They have, that's their job. They go out and service machines in several businesses. What they do is, Mr. Speaker, they come on regular basis, they grease, oil machines, run them, ensure that they are running fine, and they do that after hours so that the regular business is not interrupted. So no one is actually sitting there and monitoring the number of hours those people, those who come to service those machines, spend on those machines. And sometimes in such businesses where there are lots of machines, machines can break down, and my experience is that contractors will never provide a quote over the phone. What they do is they'll come to the site, they'll assess the machine, and then they will provide their quote. And most of the times the quote is subject to various conditions, which is that if they find there was another fault inside the machine, or if they require a new part, which of course will require additional quotation for buying that part, and also the time they spend on sourcing that part. And if the machine is small, Mr. Speaker, I'm just picking one example from one industry. If the machine is small, then sometimes these people will offer to take the machine to their workshop because that's convenient for them. And it works well for them, and in gaps they can fix that machine and then deliver it back to the site where it's required. And if the machine that has broken down is huge, cannot be transported, in those situations these people will come on site and fix that machine. And normally it's again done after hours because no one wants to interrupt their business during normal working hours. Again, Mr. Speaker, when they come to fix any broken machines, normally they will be given access, in my experience, to the factory or the site. They come and do the job. They take 5 hours or 10 hours. No one is sitting there and monitoring the number of hours they actually spend on that machine. No one wants to know if they are just sitting in the tea room and having their dinner. What they want is the assurance that the machine is fixed and they know how much they are paying for the job that the contractor is doing for the business. So, Mr. Speaker, in my view, this bill is underestimating contractors out there. And this will do the opposite of what the member actually wants to achieve. And I believe there are enough protection mechanisms for contractors if they feel they are being exploited. What we should do is actually spread that awareness that contractors, there are provisions available for them if they feel that they are being exploited. And I also feel that this bill will bind contractors to the minimum wage. Because if this bill goes through, the signal will be that contractors should be earning just the minimum wage. And as a result of this bill, people will start looking at the number of hours. They will be asking contractors to break the number of hours, and also will start calculating the amount that they are charging based on the minimum wage. Mr. Speaker, I'm a supporter of a free market, and I think we need the flexibility that is in the marketplace, and we don't want to bind contractors just to the minimum wage, because there are some contractors, they are more efficient than others, and there are some contractors, they like flexibility, and there are some contractors, they just like to work part-time. And that's why a lot of people, Mr. Speaker, from their regular professions, they come out and start up their own business as a contractor. So we will be taking away that freedom from contractors, because it's not just, as I said before, Mr. Speaker, the business or an individual hiring a contractor will be required to keep those records, but the person offering or a contractor offering those services will also be required to keep those records. Mr. Speaker, we want to see that the market is giving that flexibility for businesses to grow, for people to do well, to support our businesses. Mr. Speaker, I do not understand why the member is so fixated on the minimum wage, because on this side we are focused on growing our economy, because if the economy is strong, we have more new jobs, higher paying jobs, and that's what we want our businesses to do. And to support our businesses, Mr. Speaker, we are diversifying our economy. We are getting free trade agreements signed. For example, we already have free trade agreement with Korea. Mr. Speaker, we are very supportive of Trans-Pacific Partnership Agreement that is going to be worth $2.7 billion by 2030. These things are to support our businesses. And Mr. Speaker, we know that wages are rising faster than inflation, and there will be around 195,000 more people employed by mid-2020. So, Mr. Speaker, these are the things we need to do to support our businesses, because if the economy is strong, then people will have higher earning power. And as one submitter said, Mr. Speaker, it's not a good idea to mix two models, the employee model and the contractor model, because it is, first of all, not desirable by the business sector, and also it's not practical. And as my colleague, those who spoke before me from this side, gave an example of where contractors actually will be earning less than employees if they are put on just the minimum wage, because they will have to pay ACC levies and also they don't get holiday pay. It's not a good idea, Mr. Speaker, so I oppose this bill. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.